I remember 10 years ago, I was really like unhappy and I didn't like myself at all. And I could like go and look in, if I saw myself in the mirror, I didn't like what I saw. And I would close my eyes and I would take my hand over my chest and I would say like, I love you, I love you, I love you 3 times in Norwegian. And then I would slowly open my eyes and I could see myself in a completely different light. And it took, I don't know, 20 seconds, but my whole like view of myself shifted like very quick. So that was the thing I was doing very often.
Hi. In this episode, you will receive inspiration from the amazing Olga Amalie. Olga is a Norwegian musician, artist, songwriter, and deeply into the art of shamanic music. In this episode, we will be talking about her path of reconnecting with her essence through music and many other interesting things. She went through a path and part of a life which she described as very challenging, that she couldn't love herself anymore. So you will receive inspiration of how she got back to reconnecting with her deep essence, what helped her through this path, and how this might also support you in connecting on a deeper level with your essence. Hello and welcome everyone to today's episode of Essence, a Journey to Self. I feel incredibly honored to have the wonderful Olga Amalie today with me. We'll be talking about interesting things which we will let unfold throughout this podcast episode. And I'm just very delighted to have you here. Thank you so much for taking your time and welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
How are you arriving in this very moment, Olga?
Well, I feel very happy, and I'm happy to be here. I was not sleeping so well last night. I have a kitten, and he's a bit crazy during the night, so I feel like I'm a bit tired, but I'm happy.
Amazing. Okay, cool. Let's see if this tiredness can get infused a little bit by the excitement of where we're going right now. So, for everyone who doesn't know Olga yet, Olga is an amazing musician, artist. She's connected to shamanic singing and is into songwriting. So if you want to check out what she's doing, I will share all the information in the description, and I would highly recommend you to check out what she's doing. And now to kick off this episode, before we started, I asked Olga, we went together on a little meditation journey to the last time where she was connected to her essence. And Olga, I'm really curious because you haven't shared it right now. When was the last time you were connected to your essence? What was this moment like?
The last time I think was yesterday, or I don't know. I believe we're all connected to our essence all of the time, actually. But I think the last time I really felt like now I'm really connected was yesterday when I was singing in a jam in Oslo. And it's interesting because before I go on stage, I'm thinking I don't know how to sing, even though I've been singing since my whole life and training singing a lot, and I'm a professional singer. I still have these thoughts like I don't know how to sing. And when I go on stage and when I just open my mouth, then I feel like, I'm connected. And I feel, it's like this feeling of being powerful, but in an extended. I don't know how to explain it, but it feels like I'm me, but I'm also you when I sing, and I'm also the universe or the trees and the birds, and it's a feeling of something bigger than just me and my body.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. That sounds really fascinating. I want
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So you were describing that you have this sensation when you go on stage. So do you experience it sometimes in other situations as well? Is it mainly the stage? Like, just to give us a little insight.
It's a good question because yeah, I do, but I think it's easier for me to access this feeling because it's like when I'm singing, I'm really letting go of the ego and the like all of these thoughts. But yeah, I am, and I'm like earlier today when I was cuddling with my cat, I also feel like I'm in my essence, and I was seeing my family. I was also feeling this, I don't know, this abundant feeling of being part of something bigger. I don't know if that's what you mean with essence. I think it's it's something very simple and something very big at the same time. So it's hard to answer, I think.
Yeah, it's fascinating that you are describing this. It seems like you're connected to this quality of essence, and it comes in various shapes and forms.
Yeah, and that's a good point because I think sometimes it's just like when you, I don't know, when you feel connected to your heart and you feel this expanded love for someone or something, or and sometimes it's more of this primal power, this feeling of being big, or being, I don't know how to explain. It's hard, but it's like when I sing, I'm imagining the eagle, and I feel like I'm not a human. I'm a I could be anything. So it's this feeling that we are more than what we see, and we are more than just what we think we are.
This was a very beautiful sentence. We are more than what we think we are, and we are more than what we see. And I'm getting goosebumps right now. And we just started.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if you have this experience of yourself in connection with others and with your voice and when you're singing on stage. What is your perspective on other people? Like when you walk through the city, or when you meet someone else in a place, or when you're at a concert, see someone else, like this sense of we are more than what we see. What do you see in others?
It's a good question. And I think it really depends on where I am at with myself. Because if I'm, when my heart is open and when I feel connected, I can see it in everyone. I can see it in, like we are all so, we are all so much bigger than what we think we are. And we all, I think, we are worthy, and just because we are existing, right? So then I see the love in everything and everyone. But if my heart is closed, I'm not seeing it, and I'm struggling. I'm just seeing like this outer. So I think that's the main important thing is like, where are you with yourself? Because when your heart is open, you're able to love anyone. And when it's closed, it's difficult. So sometimes I'm also, if I'm I take the boat from, I live in a place called Nesodden. It's close to Oslo, and you need to take a boat. And when I'm taking the boat, I'm listening to a meditation, and it's like a 20 minutes boat ride, and I'm doing this meditation where I'm opening my heart, and I can really sense the difference. And sometimes I'm also, actually, and that's a quick, no one has ever asked me this question before, and I never told anyone. But I remember 10 years ago, I was really like unhappy and I didn't like myself at all. And I could like go and look in, if I saw myself in the mirror, I didn't like what I saw. And I would close my eyes and I would take my hand over my chest and I would say like, I love you, I love you, I love you 3 times in Norwegian. And then I would slowly open my eyes and I could see myself in a completely different light. And it took, I don't know, 20 seconds, but my whole like view of myself shifted like very quick. So that was the thing I was doing very often. And I forgot, but yeah. But now I was thinking of it. And that's so interesting because it's like you are the same person, but you just see like see different things from where you're at.
Thank you for sharing that and for taking us
Mhm.
into this, I can imagine, very intimate moment in time of
Mhm.
yours. This, where I can imagine that there was a lot of challenges and struggles and being like, okay, that was one very concrete thing that you did, one strategy that supported you in this time.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you want to share that. You don't have to share that. I was imagining that if people are listening and they're like, maybe they're finding themselves also in a situation where like, I don't like parts of myself or something of myself. And they have this same longing of, I want to like myself again. What can I do? Maybe it would support those listeners to hear a little bit about what it was, like which kind of situation you were in. If you want to share, you don't have to share it. We can also keep it on a general level if that feels better.
Yeah, I'm happy that you ask. I think for me it's a much longer story, but I think I had many years where I was like really hard on myself. But we are always enough, all of us, and we all have our traumas, and some of them we are aware of, some of them we are not aware of. But I believe if anyone is sitting out there and think they need, like, how can I love myself better? The first thing is to tell yourself. And it's about saying it out loud. And you will not believe in it in the beginning. But when you say it, when you tell a story out loud, the brain will listen to it and believe in the story even more than if you only think it. That's at least what I've heard someone say, like my yoga teacher. So I think say it out loud, and also surround yourself with good people, like people that really see your worth, and do fun things with your life. Like I don't know, we take life so seriously, and I think it's everything can be boring or sad, and everything can be fun. So sometimes when I drive my car, I can have anxiety and I can be like really frustrated, and other times I'm listening to great music and I'm just like all over, just having the best time. So I really think it's about like how can you have shape your life in a way that you do good things for yourself, and know that you are like everyone is lovable and enough by just existing. Yeah.
Thank you, Olga, for sharing this. I can imagine that this is very inspiring for many people to hear. Hearing you share, firstly, so vulnerably about a time which I can imagine was quite intense for you as well. And yeah, sharing this, like how you were dealing with the situation. And as well, this podcast is called Essence, a Journey to Self. It's a journey, right? And I was wondering on on this journey from this point that you described of this, I'm not loving myself fully. I don't love myself in certain ways.
Yeah.
Which other steps did you take on this journey of loving yourself more and more? You just already described a couple of things, like being like, what did this journey look like?
I think it's always a journey, and I think it's like you have these up and downs, and but also really try to be authentic with your life. I think that's loving yourself. So for me, music and singing is very important. So if I'm working, like I can work with other things as well. But if I'm doing it that too much, it feels like I'm cheating on myself or not being fully me. So I really believe in this. Do the things that makes you thrive. In general, that's a good way of loving yourself. And be patient. And also, that's a huge one, like not chasing external things. I think a lot of people are like unconsciously, like we get from we are children, we get thought how to like you are lovable if you are the ones that's helping your parents or someone, or you are lovable if you are good in school, or you are lovable if you are actually for some people it's if you are sick, actually, because when they're sick they get more attention. So some people unconsciously want to be sick because then they get more love from their parents or their environment. So there's like unconsciously we get thought all of these like ways of how to survive in our family and in our tribe. And then there's one point where these things are not serving us anymore, because we are lovable just by existing. You don't need to help everyone, or you don't need to get good grades or whatever. You're lovable just because you exist. And I think what was your question? I gotta
like on this journey to self, like what were the steps of this journey? Which parts, like which steps did you take? And because I can imagine that's been a couple of years and coming more and more and more to yourself. And
yeah, I think it's like an ongoing process, like but for me it's also been being authentic. When I do music, I try as hard as I can to not do what I think people expect me to do. I try to connect with my urkraft, my primal power, or like my own. It's interesting because very often I get I expect people not to like it because I think it's too wild, it's too crazy, it's too much. But when I'm doing it, I feel free and I feel authentic, and I can also see that that's how like people like it. It's what people want and they like it. Yeah.
So if someone is listening and they're like, I would love to be more authentic, how do I do this? What would you say?
Great question. I think it would be just to reflect on when do you feel free? When do you feel like you're like, listen to your energy. Like when you're with people, do you feel like you get lifted up, or do you feel like it's something that's pulling you down. And when you're doing things like what you love to do, very often it's the things we love to do that we are most afraid to do also. But it's I think a lot of people are saying, I don't know what to do with my life. But I think they know. It's just they are afraid to take the steps.
And if someone is afraid to take a step, how was it for you maybe? When you're afraid to take steps, like what makes you actually take the step?
I think at one point you just have to give a fuck. I think so. I think you can be afraid of things, but at one point you're just feeling like, fuck it, I just need to do it. And for me, it's I do like this. I do some shamanic work with my drum and drumming and singing, and that really helps me to connect with my power. But and also be surrounded with people that are supporting you. And there is this line from this movie, The Wild Robot. I don't know if that's the English title of the movie. Yeah,
I don't know it yet.
We'll figure out. But there's a movie. I saw it on the cinema, and there's a old duck telling a young duck, like, there's nothing anybody else can do that you can't do. So I'm telling myself this like all of the time. There's nothing anyone else can do that I can't do, and I think that's a great line to start with. And once you start to believe in that, magic is happening, because then you will attract the right circumstances and the right people, and you will also have the take the action, because you need to take action, or also in order to manifest what you want.
Manifesting the power in the world. Wow.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned your approach to music, which is also like a shamanic approach to music. So I'm very curious about hearing more about that. And I'm also wondering, like, if someone is like, what is shamanic music? How would you describe that in very like a down-to-earth way?
Great question. I think shamanic music is the ancient music, so it's connected with the ancient people, and it's the oldest way of connecting with nature and with spirituality. So it's both. For me, it's also very a earthly, grounded, practical thing. So whenever I do shamanic music, I use I can use my drum, or I can use my voice, and I just use it in a free, authentic way of singing. I don't know if that's a good answer or not, but it's yeah.
I like it. I can actually imagine right now many people are like, I want to see it and I want to hear it. And would you be open just to sharing how that sounds, knowing that it's actually something that need to be experienced directly with you, but that could be super exciting. If you would have your drum close by, and if you'd like to.
Yeah, I can wait 20 seconds, and you can talk. And I don't hear you when you're talking.
Okay, cool. So for everyone who's listening, this is exciting. I don't know if you've ever experienced music which can be described as shamanic music. I also don't know if you're open to this kind of vocabulary. If you are, amazing. And if you're not, amazing. Then this is a moment to invite openness, to invite curiosity, and just to see what that does with you if that lands in a way. Just knowing that this is a little taste and knowing that it would be even more amazing if we would be with Olga in the same space. But now, as we are already in the same virtual space, I feel deeply honored that we get to have this experience. And Olga, you just take us wherever you want to take us in a way that feels most authentic to you.
Okay, so I would like everyone that listens to close their eyes and breathe in. And imagining yourself somewhere in nature, a place where you really like to be. And I'll start from there. So this was very, very quick. Usually I can do this for 30 minutes or something. And in my music, I'm not doing this thing. This is more like a shamanic singing thing, but I'm also making like pop music, but with this energy in my voice. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing this and giving us a taster. I found it very, very beautiful. And
Thank you.
Yeah, it's so special to have this, experience this.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, like, when you take people on such a shamanic musical journey, what is the impact on other people? I was wondering, like, if someone has never experienced that, it's like, maybe they've experienced something right now in this little taster. What is it usually that people get to connect with, or what are the experiences?
It can be several things. It could be connecting with your spirit animal. I think we all have different spirit animals. For some people see things, like they can close their eyes and they visualize something. Other people can just feel it in their body, that the energy is shifting. And I think both is good.
Wow.
And there's something like, for me, it's not. I'm not very into science, and I don't want to. It's more like with music. It's touching a deeper part of people. Like, it's like their DNA or something deep inside of them already know something. um, so I'm not very like into talking too much about it, because I think it's a very like deep emotional and deep physical experience.
Yeah, I would actually love to be able to tell people when they could experience that and how they could experience that. So maybe I could link the information of what you're sharing and when you'll be sharing it afterwards in this podcast episode. Wow. Well, I feel that is already quite deep, and I would have loved actually just to extend this experience and have all the people in the same space, that everyone gets to feel this. Really, as you were saying, it's a bodily sensation, something deeper, an emotional experience, way more than just like a mental concept that can be explained and transferred from person A to B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anyone would have told me like a couple of years ago that I would be doing this shamanic things, I would be like, no. But it's now I feel like it's just it's so natural way of being in life, like connecting with this primal power, and yeah, I really want to encourage people to and inspire people to connect with their own primal essence and be in this, because I think there's a lot of gifts that we usually don't explore in our everyday life.
Yeah, and as you said that some years ago, if someone would have told you, "Hey, Olga, one day you will be playing the shamanic drum and doing this shamanic music," you would have said, "Wow, this is crazy," or "That's not me," or "That's weird." What would have been your response a couple of years ago? Is it like, yeah, what would have been your response?
I don't know. I remember someone told me 10 years ago that at one point I would be doing spiritual work, and that spirituality and music would be like very much linked together, and I didn't understand it at that time. It was not like I had something against it, but it was more like I just didn't know what it was about, and I didn't feel like I had any like for me when I do my shamanic things, it's not sometimes I feel like it's not something I've chosen, but it has chosen me. I don't know, like I want, like one part of me just want to be a pop singer. But I'm not. So it's like, yeah, and maybe that's my essence, like to really step into this being this shamanic woman that I am, and not try to be commercial or try to be a pop singer, because I tried for many years and it didn't work, and then I just do this stepped more and more into this shamanic singing, and now I feel like my career is thriving more. Yeah. So it's interesting. It's and I think it's about following your own. Sometimes we don't know what, like we can try to plan our lives, but maybe God or the universe or something has another plan for you. And I think it's about really listening into your inner voice and what comes natural for me, like
Fascinating. I have so many questions I want to ask you.
Yeah.
And one of them is, if someone is listening right now and they like music,
yeah,
and then they're like, Okay, Olga said there's a link between music and spirituality. What
Mm.
is this link that she's talking about?
Great question. It's I think for me it's about like it's the same when people go to a football game. They feel like connected to something bigger, and it's the same if you go to a concert and you feel moved and you don't even know why you get moved, and maybe the science or someone can show you, it's these and these frequencies or this chord, or but it's just something in your soul. Just you feel like you're connected with your heart and with your soul, and that's what for me, that's what the link between spirituality and music is. And I have to say this, I don't think spiritual music is more spiritual than other music.
Thank you for saying this. Thank
Yeah,
you.
and I don't think shamanic music is more spiritual than pop music. I think both can be very spiritual. I just yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And this reminds me a little bit of this bass player called Victor Wooten. Maybe you know him as well. He's like
I don't know.
he's like famous bass player, and he wrote this book called The Music Lesson, and I think it's called A Path to Spiritual Growth Through Music or something like that. And there he also describes this link or this connection between music and spirituality, and he doesn't play what many people would label as spiritual music. He plays like super funky stuff. And then he describes in this book, which is super fascinating, how he gets in touch with this something bigger or something else, or something is playing him. And he describes so many other facets of what music is, that it's not just the notes, not just the harmony, not just the rhythm, but also like this energetic frequency between. And to me, it was interesting to read this book written by him, because he didn't represent, for me at least, someone who was like super hippie shanty. And it was very easy for me to receive this, being like, maybe there is actually more to that. Maybe music is not just entertaining or performance. Maybe there's something else to that. And I'm curious to know for me, because maybe people are like, yeah, okay, I want this as well. How can I experience this connection? In which situation were you, or what happened to you, that you experienced this shift from, no, I'm not this kind of person, I don't do shamanic drumming, this is a weird thing, to, this is actually maybe me, or a part of my path. What happened? What was it that shifted for you?
I think it's a longer journey, because I have been singing with this and using my voice in that way for a long time, but I was only like doing it a little bit, but now I'm doing it a lot. And at one point I I was studying music, and I went to a Christian school, and I felt like I love there's a lot of things that are really good about Christian societies, and some things that maybe triggered me in a good way, because my like like the wild woman inside of me became, I don't know how to explain, it became like on fire. Like before that I felt I was a bit more like this, and then I got and I started to I went to a shamanic school where I learned about drum journeys and these things, and then I realized like I just want to be powerful, or I just want to be in this, like I wanna, if I'm on stage and I want to scream because
Yeah.
there is like no place for us in the society to be like fully be who we truly are, except from when I'm on stage. So I feel like for me it was yeah, something shifted in me, like yeah, I think it's 2 years or maybe 3 years ago, yeah. And then I just knew like I need to step into my power and not try to blend in or try to be someone I'm not. Yeah. And now I'm just I'm not able to do anything else, or I'm I'm not, if I'm going on stage I'm just doing it. But before I used to be when I was singing on stage I was like thinking, should I scream, should I not scream, should I be louder, should I not be louder? So there was something holding me back, like, but now I'm not holding myself back. I'm just yeah, and it's great. I love it.
It feels like, yeah, since you decided or something decided for you to fully step into this, that
Yeah.
it sounds like you're more connected to your power, to the like
Yeah.
the vastness of who you are. Well,
It is, yeah.
yeah. How are you experiencing life since you've been stepping on this path? Like not just on stage, but life in general.
I think life in general is much easier. There was one point that I felt like, I think in the like transition between being like this, being and stepping into my power, I felt like I had to claim my power all of the time, and I now I don't feel like that, because if I'm working with producer, everyone is expecting of me that I'm being loud or I'm taking up a lot of space. But I think 2 years ago people didn't know what to expect, because sometimes I would be very sing very quiet and be very, and I still do, but I do now people expect of me to be this wild woman. So I think that's changed, that I don't feel this need um to tell people, or yeah, I'm never in a conflict. Like if I'm going on stage, there's no problem for me. Or it's, yeah, it's like it's much, it feels like a lot more easier now than it did a while ago. I get a bit distracted because my kitten, you have to see him for everyone who's
Oh, hello.
yeah.
What is your name?
His name is Snö. It means snow, but I call him Snöskatten. But he is like going in my camera, and I just need to put him down.
Beautiful to see it as like this. Yeah, I heard that you have, like, the Snurskatten came to you recently, and he's with you just for a couple of days or maybe 2 weeks or something like that.
1 week. Yeah.
1 week. Wow. Yeah, so it's also a very down to earth thing, right?
Yeah, and that's good.
Yeah, I was wondering right now, I feel this is already so rich that I feel super inspired. And I wanted to ask you if there's something where you feel that you would like to share with the world through this channel, or if there's something where like, actually, I have a question for you, John, or if there's something else for which you would like to use this space and this opportunity right now.
Yeah, there was this one sentence that came to me, like it's very well known, but it's change your thoughts and change your life. But I also believe in change your energy and your life will change. So, yeah, I don't know. I just want people that listen to know that you can do anything with your life. And I really believe that life is like this, and it's like a roller coaster. Like sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not, and you can be at a low point now, and 2 weeks or 2 years you will be at a completely different place in your life. And just follow your heart and intuition and have fun. And I don't know, I think you, John, you are so you're like, what do you do to love yourself? That's my question for you.
Thank you. Thanks, first of all, for sharing this inspirational quote and impulse on how to live and thrive. What do I do to love myself? Many things. My most favorite one. I'm going to share 3. One is like I have a morning routine, and in this morning routine I do some stretching, and then I go take a shower. And actually, when I turn on the shower, like the tap of the water, every time I open it, I ask myself, what am I grateful for? And I've been doing this for 10 years or longer. Like I can't not take a shower without asking myself what I'm grateful for. That's one tiny thing. The next one is then I brush my teeth, and then I sit down and do a meditation. It's not long, 12 minutes, 15 minutes maybe. And at the end of this meditation, I first ask myself, how am I right now? Did I sleep well or not? What's the state that I'm in? So I'd like to check in with myself. And then I smile to myself and tell myself, I love myself. And the last thing that I do, and that might sound extremely cheesy, but it's the truth, I do that. That every night, even if my partner's not there, when I turn off the light, the last thing I do is that I smile. So I always smile.
Wow.
And then I turn off the light, so that the last thing that I see of myself, or my partner sees from me, or the world sees from me, is like a smile.
Oh, that's great.
So I turn it off with a smile, and then I wake up and the routine starts again. I think these will be 3 very small things. They might sound very cheesy to someone. I love it. It really supports me in finding inner peace and balance, and just being like self-accepting. Like, okay, that's me. Yeah. Thank you for asking.
Thank you for telling, and thank you for sharing. Yeah. It's a good one, actually. Smile, like in general, I think smiling is a good one. And it's the same for me. Like if I'm just smiling to people, like I can have a bad day or whatever. When I meet people and smile, it's like, oh, life is fine. So it's also like smiling is a great tip for anyone.
So if you're listening to this right now, give yourself a smile. Amazing. Okay, cool. I think with this is the perfect moment to round off our episode today.
Yeah.
And I just want to say thank you so much, Olga. I'm really deeply grateful that you were the guest on today's episode. And I wish you all the best with your new snow cat.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'm very curious about where this path will lead you. And I really deeply feel your connection to this, something greater, the love for yourself. Thank you for sharing your journey so openly with all of us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. And thank you, John.
All right. Then see you at the next episode of Essence.